Hey everyone, Discourse Miniatures here with a new video for today, going over how I prepare and prep a model from the Batman Miniatures game line and get it ready for the table. So the first things first is I've got the model here, just in its pack. It's freshly arrived. Got it on sale from Zatu if you're interested. And I've been looking forward to this model for a long time. This is Red Hood, the Jason Todd version of Red Hood. This is a very powerful model. If you're playing a Batman crew right now and you're sick of playing with suspect markers and you just want to beat somebody up, this is the guy. So I'm really excited to get him, even though I'll probably be facing off against him quite often, which is to my detriment. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to unbox the model completely, going to show that off a little bit, and then I'm going to take you through all the stages I go through whenever I'm getting a model ready for the table. Probably bar the painting one, because I'll need to take a little bit of time to paint it. But I'll show you how to prepare the model, how to get it ready, how to get it all glued together, go over if there's any green stuff or anything that's needed, how I use that. So nothing revolutionary, but might be of interest to you. So the first things first, we're going to open up the model. Let's see here what we've got. So here is the unit card. So obviously these are going the way of the dodo, unfortunately, with the app that's coming out. But so long as stocks last, the unit cards are here. So you can see those there. If you do want to pause, you want to read the unit card. See here, this is actually the Spanish version of it. Let's see if they've packed an English version. So I think I've got one of the earlier ones where they came with both English and Spanish. Yep, so here is his character card. Basically, you have to go after the most expensive model, I believe, on the enemy side, unless it's the Joker, in which case you have to go after the Joker if he's on your opponent. So here we go. So this is Spanish here. So this is the character card here. He's 80 reputation. He's an absolute beast. The katana with the double blood and the handy and sharp. Handy means you can reroll your attacks, and sharp means that you reroll your strength die. It's just absurd. And then the crowbar is absolutely amazing. You look at the keywords on that. It's got handy, heavy, devastating, and blunt too. It's just absolutely nuts. So this character is, he's crazy in combat. I'm really looking forward to cracking him out, to seeing him in action on the table. I've seen him in action a few times. I've never played with him personally myself though. I just know that he's very, very good. So let's see. So here is sprue number 1. So you can see here that there's a lot of legs. There's the wee hand there with the sword. We've got the leg there, and then the crowbarred arm there, and the wee statue there that says Jason Todd. Okay, so let's pop that down there. And then here is the main body of Jason. You can see, let me just get a bit of space here. So you can see there with him, he's got the hood. It's a very cool model. He's got the jacket and then the little symbol there on his chest. And obviously you can see there's little bits here of resin that have come through. So we will need to clean those up whenever we do prepare the model before painting it. And then finally, he does come, of course, with the classic Night Models cobblestone base there, and he comes with a wee topper. You can see it's like the statue, so the statue will pop in there, statue there, that's gonna pop in, and then he'll have a wee scene, so it'll look like that by the end of it, although probably not as well painted, I don't think. So the first things first, we've got all these little bits here. What do you do with them? Well, first thing to do is actually to clean them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small basin. I'm going to fill that with some fairy up liquid, so some washing up liquid, and some lukewarm water, and I'm going to let those soak for 10 minutes and then give them a wee scrub with a toothbrush. So I'm going to go do that off camera, and then I'll come back and I'll show you then how I actually prepare them. Okay, so I've cleaned the Red Hood model now. I just did that with a little, just again, it was with a toothbrush and a little basin filled with lukewarm water and some washing up liquid. Give them all a wee bit of a scrub. The nice thing about this resin that Night Models use is that it's very, very flexible. So as you can see here, I can sort of do that with the model. It doesn't break at all, so you can just go right at it. A little bit of a warp in there on that sword, it's okay. So I can just go right at it and just brush away. With the second edition resin, you want to be a lot more careful. It's a lot more brittle. So we'll put these to one side just for a moment. So obviously I didn't clean this, by the way. This doesn't need to be cleaned. Just the resin itself. And I'm just gonna bring over everything here. Let's see, that I use. So, first things first is a cutting knife of some kind. You can see here. It's very sharp. Sharper the better, honestly. I like to use a fresh blade as often as possible. I just use the Citadel one, but really any sort of hobby knife will do. The reason for that is, once again, you can see the little bits here. There we are. The little bits that hang off. You can get those cut with the hobby knife. Sometimes you just need to make wee cuts here and there. Obviously the clippers here, I just use the Citadel ones as well. They are probably a little bit worse for wear these days. I've had this for a while. This is just sort of standard green stuff here that I use to fill in gaps. Then this super glue that I picked up from Tesco's, which is basically like a Walmart equivalent. This is very quick drying though. The problem I have with this is that sometimes it dries far too quickly. It doesn't have to give you a lot of time to try and to sort of try and fit them, right? So you've got to dry fit them beforehand. Make sure you know exactly what you're doing. So you might prefer just to use like some Loctite or something like that with like a wee brush, you know. But I do sort of like these. I do like them for the quickness of it, and I just have so many of them lying around. They're very cheap, so I end up just using them very often. So let's see here. So the first things first is I'm just going to begin to clean up some of the models, some of the bits and pieces, and I'm going to begin to dry fit some of it as well. So let's go through that. Okay, you can see here there's a little bit of flash. You can see just on the bottom of the tombstone there. Obviously that doesn't really matter as much, but there's a little bit on the arm here, if you can see at the elbow. So I'm gonna need to cut with those with the hobby knife. And I tend to find that actually cutting this sort of flash here, like this one here, I tend to find it easier to do it when it's still on the sprue. Okay, so I've cleaned up all the models now, all the little bits and pieces. Just clipped off a few wee bits, shaved off a little bit of excess around the base. And now we're ready to begin the fun part of dry fitting and then gluing. So dry fitting is basically where you just fit the pieces together before you actually apply any glue. It's just to give you an idea of what it is you're actually doing here. So from looking at the picture, he sort of has his foot up on this angel here. I'm also, there we go. So I can see here actually there's a little bit on the foot. Just need to cut that off there. So this is where he's going to stand. Like that. So it goes in here. Okay. Right. So before we do that, I think we'll try to get in the sword. You might find, so a lot of these nubs sort of that go in, you'll see there's a little sticky out bit. Oh, if I can get to the focus. There's a little bit of a sticky out bit that goes out, and it's meant to fit sort of in. There's a little hole there, right there. And they're meant to fit. Sometimes they just won't fit, and honestly, you can just cut it right off and glue it in yourself. Like you don't need to sort of religiously stick to that little hole. Sometimes there'll just be a little bit of too much resin. I'm being a little bit rougher with this resin here compared to how I would be with the second edition resin, just because second edition resin is very, very brittle and can break very easily. I'm actually having a little bit of trouble trying to dry fit this in here. Actually, just I've noticed a little consistency here, so I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit. And you'll see this dries very, very fast, so I'm gonna need to be very quick. If you've got Loctite or another sort of bigger brace brand, you should have a little bit longer in terms of wiggle room. Yes, no. So you can see there's a little bit of a seam there. Honestly, for me, I think that's okay. So I tell you what, we're gonna leave that for a second. We're actually gonna do the crowbar. I should have put this in first. This might have been a bit of a mistake. This is the very, very easy bit. Just a tiny bit along the edge. Pop that in like so. Yep, there we go. Bob's your uncle. If only everything was that easy. So it looks like there might need to be a little bit of green stuff here. I'm just looking at the fit. And that's basically the little model here. I know that a lot of people like to take them at this stage and sort of begin painting them. I'm too lazy for that. So if I were to sort of try and clean them up here, I think there's a little bit of a gap there. So I'll show you how to use the green stuff. It's very, very simple. And again, like this sort of stuff, look, I'm not very great at this, as you can probably tell. In terms of the hobby side of things, I am I've been at it for a long time, let me just say that much, but I'm not great at it. So you just take the green the yellow and the blue bits, and then you take them together. You just start rolling them like so. So it should start to turn green. That's why it's called green stuff. So I took off way too much. Not even gonna need very much. So here, maybe a little less than that. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is try to fit in a little tiny gap. So it's a teeny tiny gap here. Just a bit too much again. Like we really are, we're trying to just slot in the teeniest, tiniest bit. And Knight models, you know, they do beautiful models, but they're very small, you know, in terms of the detail. They're very highly detailed, but they're sort of realistically built. So let's see here. So I'm just literally flattening in a little bit of the green stuff here. Pulling that all the way around, like so. There you are. And now, it looks green now, but it will, you know, it'll be painted, basically, to match the rest of the environment. The rest of the jacket, and it will fill in that little tiny gap there. There's another ridge here. If I was sort of an amazing painter, I'd probably maybe try to clean up the butt. You can tell it's a butt there, but you know, I don't know. I just don't really feel the need to. There's a little tiny bit of fluff, just a wee bit of extra coming off there. Just clean that up a little bit, and yeah, all that remains now is to put them on the base. And one thing about the Knight model base is that you see this little sort of circular here. You can fit little magnets in there. I don't have a magnet to hand, but I magnetize all my models, and that's where I pop mine. So whenever I'm putting these on the base, I like to think about how I'm going to be gripping the model, how I'm going to be pulling it off. I have a magnet rack, so I keep all my models on magnet racks, and whenever I put them on, I want to think about where I'm going to be pulling them, because whenever I lift them, I want to be lifting as close as possible to the magnet. But there's no real way, because Jason's sort of like right in the middle. I think I'll put the magnet behind him here. So just gonna glue that on, and this is sort of an easy enough bit. Let's see here. Literally just a bit of glue. And again, I'm using this really crazy quick dry glue, so I've got to be really careful because it does not give me any time at all. I accidentally glued the Riddler on the big base too quickly, and he's sort of not quite in the center, and it's kind of annoyed me, and I can't get him off. So there you are. That is Red Hood. You know, I've spilled a little bit of super glue. I have I've had to cut off a little bit here and there. Maybe put the left arm on a little bit wrong, but you know what? At the end of the day, you get it undercoated. You throw on you slap a bit of paint on, put it on the table. No one will know, especially if you color the base in. People get distracted by that. This is an awesome model. It's absolutely crazy in terms of its skills, what it can do. The one-shot gun is just great. It also looks really cool. I love the addition of the graveyard. And I even bought a sort of graveyard terrain set that I will hopefully be able to get all done in time for Jason Todd to be done. And yeah, there he is. So with Knight models as well, one thing you got to worry about is just the little base doesn't always fit, sort of like the little plastic resin base there. It doesn't always fit the base. So, you know, you can take a bit of green stuff, you can sort of squeeze that out around the edges to get rid of the cobblestone. I might do that, I might not do that. I did that with Catwoman, but there was a lot less to sort of cover. With this, there's a bit more. So I don't know if I will bother. I'll have a little think about that before I undercoat. And that's what you want to do then. So next up, basically all you'll need to do is get a bit of spray the model. You know, I like gray personally, but you know, you can do a little bit of zenithal highlighting. It's where you get the lighter toned one, and you spray it from above. and then you just paint it, really. And I'm a big fan of contrast paints myself, just because they get the job done very quickly. They are everything you need. They highlight, out of the box. I used to paint with, your base color, your deeper color, and then this sort of lighter color, the old classic Games Workshop 3-color sort of style, tabletop ready style. But to be honest, it takes so long whenever you're trying to churn out a lot of models. Not that you really need to with Batman, but if you want to churn out a lot of models, and I played a lot of Joker, so I wanted to churn out a lot. It can take a lot of time, and for a lot of people, they are going to want to pour a lot of time and effort into the painting, and that's great. Fair play to you. I do not have the attention span for that. I'm not able to do that. Instead, I like to get them done and dusted and get them ready for play, because I love to play the game. So yep, that's Jason Todd, and if you enjoyed this then today, please let me know if you want to see more of these, hopefully where I mess up quite a bit less, but if you do want to see more of these, and if you are interested maybe in the painting process, by all means let me know. So give the actual video a thumbs up if you did enjoy this, and do hit me with a comment below if there are any models or anything like that you'd like to see put together. If you had any difficulty with certain models, just let me know in the comments below. We'll have a chat about that, and do subscribe to the video. To the channel rather, if you enjoyed the video and if you want to see more Batman miniature game content, because that's really what it's all about. So thanks a lot for joining me, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.